Hi, today we're going to talk about Gwen's latest article, The Drama Triangle, with Gwen. Why don't you take over?
Thank you. Yeah, breaking free from the drama triangle is really the point of the article. And what is the drama triangle? So it's something that's being floated around in the popular culture right now, and it's been around for a long time. And I can reference who originated it. His name doesn't come to me at the moment, but but it's basically, it's okay. It's a triangle, and we have the victim, rescuer, persecutor, and some people call that the hero, the innocent, and the villain. So these are patterns that we can find ourselves in life, and really they are everywhere. They just show up everywhere in every relationship, in all kinds of dynamics, where you start to notice somebody's taking the victim role and someone else is running in to save that person. And then that person becomes the persecutor because now they're dependent on the rescuer, and they have conditions, and they want things that they feel they're entitled to. So they're and that's really oversimplifying it. But what the point of calling it the drama triangle is that it's really about falling into patterns that are reflective of false beliefs that we have. And so when we fall into these patterns, they're kind of predictable in a sense that when you become the rescuer and the hero, and you really want to be that person, oftentimes it's really about how you want to feel. You want to feel like the savior, the fixer, the hero, right? And sometimes people get locked into the victim role where they just can't see themselves any other way but being put upon. They're being put upon by the world. They're being put upon, and this is not to say that there aren't real things that happen to people that make them actual, that they are indeed being victimized. But we're talking about drama. So this is more like an overlay of what's really on top of what's really going on, for instance. And also, then we talk about the persecutor, and this is the person who's blaming everybody and saying, you're doing this, and it's your fault, and I'm projecting on you that you're the problem, and you're not meeting my expectations. So that's, in some way you can look at that triangle, and you can pretty much identify where you are on it if you start to feel like they're not actually grounded, you're not actually being truthful. There's some angle going on here that doesn't feel authentic, and you can tell when you're in the drama triangle. And the thing about it is, it's not about beating yourself up. Oh, because I'm in this pattern now, and I repeated this type of behavior over and over again, and aren't I terrible? The point is to just become aware. The point is to just notice. Yes, I think this pattern is running right now. Can I step back a little bit from it and just understand the dynamics of maybe what I think I can get out of this, or what I've been trying to get out of this, and what I've been trying to deliver to someone else? And can I step back from that and make a different choice? So there's creating the space, and then there's having a different choice. And those are really the things that empower us, because we all find ourselves on the drama triangle multiple times in life, just many multiple times in life. And so this whole journey of awareness, this whole process of becoming more aware of ourselves when we're enacting a pattern, that we have some in the back of our mind going, no, this isn't where I want to be. This isn't really expressing the health of who I really am, or the true essence of who I really am. And so I'm going to just back off from this a little bit, and I'm just going to make a different choice. So that's a little bit about the drama triangle. And I think that the more aware we become of the patterns that we slip into, that we've been conditioned to enact, the less we have agency over our own identity of saying, I'm this. And so then we're in essence, when we're falling into patterns that come out of conditioning and experience in life, we are letting other people define who we are and tell us what our identity is, rather than that coming from a genuine place within ourselves, where we're not reactive to what's going on and slipping into a pattern that's familiar but not very productive.
Right. Yeah, I can really relate to what you're saying now about the breaking of it, because it feels like, and this goes on for everybody, I think, all the time. It's not so much the stagnant feeling you have about something, but it's when you interact with someone, and you come into the interaction as one of those three, as the hero, as the victim. It always leads to the next step in the cycle. You don't get the response you thought you were going to get, because you're the hero, you're helping them, or you're blaming them, or what have you. And then the reaction of that person, my reaction to their response, seems to take me through that loop.
And it's a loop,
Yeah.
So
circular triangle.
the closed loop. Yeah. So identifying yourself when you're starting to take on one of these roles. That's the art of the whole thing, is can I catch, because it's easy to see where other people are in it,
Mm-hmm.
And to even call them out for it if you feel the need to do that. Although you might want to look and see why you're doing that. Am I trying to rescue them? Am I persecuting them? Do I feel victimized by their point of view? So it points out where we're not grounded in an anchored identity of who we are, which is, of course, the point of a lot of the work that we do at Coach 2 with deep coaching, deep focus coaching, is to let's find that, let's build that, let's really get a sense of it, an experience of it. So it's our go-to, it's our default setting, instead of going into this triangular dynamic. Yeah.
It's like the old thing of when you're pointing a finger at somebody, you've got three fingers pointing back at you. It's the old catch-22. The minute you point at somebody, blame somebody, isolate somebody in a projection, you're really talking about yourself. So as I like to work with clients, never, always keep all your fingers pointing at them. Blame fully. Never let anything stick at yourself. It's very interesting. It's such a cycle too. Like once you get into it, and the more energy you put into a blame or a victim position, the more energy it takes you into the next one, because it's like, now you're really angry that you're the victim, or now that you were rejected as the hero.
It has movement to it, for sure. Yeah. And it can happen to anybody at any time. I remember our parents were so generous with their living space and their resources, and they were always giving things away and being so such good people, and they were good people. But there was that need to be the rescuer all the time, or not all the time, but in many instances. And I do remember times when that they felt very abused by people that they had given a lot of things to, and bruised and abused. without recognizing how that came about, right?
Yeah. I mean, both our parents have passed since, so sometimes I feel like I'm throwing them under the bus by talking about them, but it's also revealing too. And
Yeah.
the week that our father died uh, unceremoniously from a brain hemorrhage, I watched my mom before she even realized the grief and the pain of what she had just lost and how her life would change. She immediately got on an aggressive tone and said, all these people, who owe us money, I mean, call them up, and some guy's got some crap on their yard. Let's get rid of that. And it was like it was so starkly real that there was an element of her life that was oppressed, that where she didn't have control, and now was her moment of opportunity to get this crap off the yard, and it's payback time. And I'm sorry, mom, I'm throwing you off there, but
Yeah,
it really was like a wonderful reveal that if you try to suppress, or stay in a suppressed state of victimhood, then ultimately you're going to become the perpetrator.
exactly. Yeah. And that's a great example. I apologize
Yeah.
to our
um,
parents who are on the other side going,
I love
um,
them dearly. They were great too.
yes. Yeah, because we had a father who really believed in community building
Yeah.
and has passed that on to us. And in fact, it's just it's almost an automatic impulse with us to
Mm,
to be that inviting element that wants community.
yeah.
So it's not
Well,
like,
I feel my mom too. I feel and it's fascinating when your parents give you that much, because they were so diverse too.
mhm. Yeah, well, you get that, don't you? Like, um, deep conversation was really our mother's delight.
Mm,
Getting down into, let's get some coffee and some coffee cake and let's talk.
let's be
And so,
honest.
hmm?
Let's be honest. Let's be real.
Let's be real, yeah. And she was great at that. She was the one who could really invite in the type of conversation that you just never have with anybody, right? That
Absolutely.
kind of skill and that love for the mystery of life, and let's talk about it. There's all that. So that's the other side of it. And truly, none of us is setting out to be any one of these things on the triangle. It's not like we have the aspiration to become a victim or a persecutor or a rescuer.
Yeah.
Um, but we find ourselves there uh, because of the conditioning that we've gotten through the culture and through our family. It's everybody knows this, that we have so many layers of our being, and some of it we had some control over, and some of it we didn't. And so a lot of the second half of life, or people can start this at any point in life, but sort of typically it starts around the second half of life. We start to clean it all up and grow up and get more mature
Yeah.
about the choices we made when we were younger.
Hmm.
We had all the knowledge that we have
Yeah.
now.
Why don't you talk a little bit, just a few minutes before we go, about what a session might look like in this topic, what you might do or bring into a session with a client?
Yeah, well, I think anytime we find ourselves playing a role, there's a need under that. Like we're trying to fulfill a need in ourselves. And so just examining what that need is and really giving it some airtime, really exploring it without judgment, without trying to get rid of it or anything like that. And just to find out, for instance, why a particular person may really feel like they have to be the hero and save everybody, which is a tremendous burden to put on oneself. This is kind of the easiest of the three, I think, to address, at least in this format. And so we talk about, where have you, we just open the whole subject up. Where have you Who are the heroes in your life? Who are the people who saved you or you felt very connected to because of their heroic, larger than life persona? And what was it about you that you felt you didn't have that they did?
Mm-hmm.
Let's find that in you. Let's find that heroic strength in you that you so admired in this other person. This it depends who shows up and what they want to talk about, of course. Um, but if they presented something like that, I would definitely want to investigate a little more just to see how this got set up in the first place. You know, what's the scaffolding here?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Really good. All right, Gwen, have a great day.
You too. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.